Alrighty, we will get this started. Get everything situated here. Yeah, S7 Davis, if you go to exclamation class and type in exclamation point class mods or class mod, you will get the mod that we're working on currently.
We were always told it might come to this, that everything.
So, what we're going to do is, if everybody's all situated here, we'll get this all fired up. Ignore the mess on the desktop. That's how I roll. It's organized in somebody's eyes, probably mine, but even there's times I get lost in my desktop and need to ask for directions home. No problem then. Alright guys, if we're ready to roll, hopefully through all the commercials, everybody's ready to roll up, so we're going to get started here. So what we're doing is we're converting the Farmall 1206 from FS13 to FS15. Now there are versions out there, and this conversion was taking place as I was planning this class, and it's nice to know that that Farmall that they converted is not top notch, so it definitely needs some help. So what I'm going to do is show you how to do it proper like, and that way we can get things going here. Nate, thanks for the follow, buddy. So what I'm going to do is just start off with basically what I do is grab the mod, which if you do exclamation point class mod, that'll be the mod that we'll be using from FS13. It'll also be found on fsuk.com, which is where I got it from. Thorsby, thanks for the follow, man. So what we're going to do is I just basically got the mod here, and then yeah, actually ignore my bot. That's not the crasher. That link is actually bad. But what we'll do is we'll continue on here. It's the Farmall 1206 from 13. So to start up, I unzip the mod into this folder, and I kept the zip file here as well, the original. First thing I need to do when converting a mod from 13 to 15 is open a mod description. In here, it's going to tell me first thing, I'm going to go through my list of due diligence. First thing I need to change, in 13 they used the mod description value of 9. What I need to change this to is 20. Now 20, 21, 22, 23, I all found out to work. I usually just go with 20 to be safe. Why those are different is beyond me, but it's just the way it is, the way they roll. So what I do is I change that to 20. Now as I go down, I notice in 13 they have some specialization, lanes, plowing spec, driving ground particles. That's all fine and dandy, and unfortunately in 15 we can convert them over, but for this instance we're going to convert this tractor to get it workable, and I don't want to take up all your night of how to convert all that items as well, so what we're going to do is just make sure to get the tractor working. So the type name, we're going to name this to Plain Old Jane Tractor. If I can spell, we'll be good to go. So what we're going to do is we need the tractor. Oh, my radio is a bit loud. Okay. Let me see if I could turn down my microphone here. I'll open that and get that turned down here. Audio. Let's. Okay, we tried turning down the value. Let me know if it's any better. Getting feedback. Alright. Let me know if that's any better. S7 Davis, I did turn it down, so I'm hoping that fixed it here. But you guys let me know if it's too loud. I might have to change a setting here. I'm not sure. Okay, feedback is good. Alright, got it. Cool, we'll continue on then. So what I got is I'm going to rename this type name to tractor. So basically when it loads up, it's going to tell me the vehicle type name is tractor. Then as I scroll down through, we're going to see vehicle types, store items, which really didn't change. One thing that did change in the store items. So what this means is in store items, it's how it's going to appear in your list when you hit the P key to purchase it. Basically telling you the image names it's going to use, which we don't need to touch any of that. We leave that alone. The price we can change, but you can change that if you feel as though it's too low or too high. The daily upkeep, how much it'll cost to keep that vehicle up. XML file name, which will be pulling from, like we did last week with the wood crasher. This is where it's going to be pulling all our vehicle information from for the farmall and the vehicle XML. The brand. Now we get down here to machine type. What we have to do, it's no longer machine type. It is now category. So what we have to do is make sure there's change both of these. Otherwise it'll not appear. So we change it to category. And that is all we have to do for the mod description at this time. We'll click on the save button and go from there and close that out. Next thing we need to do is open the vehicle XML. This is the farmall 1206 as we noted in the mod description. It is right here. That is this guy. So what we're seeing here is this guy right up here. Next thing we'll do is the vehicle type. As you guys know, over in the mod description, the vehicle type name is tractor. So up here we need to change this to a big old tractor. There's that. They now match. Good to go. Again, the name, how it's going to appear is a farmall 1206. The file name. This is basically telling us how it's pulling from the I3D. No need to change this. This can stay same as it is. Wheels can stay the same. One thing that needs to change is this motor section. This has changed significantly, as most of you find out. So what we need to do is change this motor section as well as the acceleration speed, the fuel usage, and we can leave it down for us as is. So what I'm going to do, just to give you guys an idea, is I'm going to open and show you guys where to go. So I'm going to go down my trusty start key here, and I'm going to go to computer, going to go to my C drive. I'm going to open my Farming Simulator 2015, my data, vehicles, steerable, and if I'm going a little fast I apologize, since I've done this so many times and it's like second nature to me. So what I want to do is I'm going to look, main thing I do is I always compare to other mods, and what better mod to use than ones that are in game. So what I'm going to do is, here's the Hurleman. I think is one of the lowest class tractors in the game in my opinion. So what you guys will notice, I will go split screen here just to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So here's our wheels, etc. They can be different, not a problem. Here's the biggest difference. So like I said about the motor section, so we have fuel usage, capacity, etc. We can leave that alone. What we want to grab is the differentials and the motor area, because this has been updated from 13 to 15. So what I want to wipe out is my acceleration speed and my motor section. Now basically I am adding, just do a copy paste, do Control C, Control V, and boom, there it is. So this now matches what we have over at the Hurleman. Differentials, just to explain, as noted here, is this is referencing the front left right tire. So basically, I'll close out the Hurleman just for now. So wheel index 0 is this first one here. Wheel index 1 is this one here. Wheel index 2 is this one here, and wheel index 3 is this last but not least. Long story short, when doing anything with the wheels, parts, usually they start with 0. So basically the first one is 0 and it works your way up to 3. Doesn't work like 1, 2, 3, 4 in a sense, so you start with 0. So now that I have my differentials, it tells you what is what and so forth and so on. So this is referring to the front and back differentials. Moving along, the motor torque, scale, these are all the settings from the Hurleman. I know they work. It's a weaker tractor, so I don't want to make it too powerful. I'm going to leave my fuel capacity as is. What I need to change, because of how they use fuel, is a different factor. So I need to up this just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'll make that 20. Leave my downforce the way it is, and a bunker silo compactor the way it is. Now as I move along, other items I'm just browsing through here. I know for a fact collision pairs are now pretty much non-existent, will be non-existent for this mod when we convert it, because they will give you an error. Collision pairs is basically telling you two items, and when they hit, they're not going to be able to go any further. So basically, it's basically self-explanatory collision. So when they hit the pairs, those two index items will stop. They'll stop each other from going any further. In 15, we no longer need this section in our vehicle XML. Moving along, we have the joint components, which we'll explain further. Front wheel, back wheel. That's all for the plowing specs, which we don't need to touch. One other thing they adjusted in from 13 to 15 are how they're labeling the attacher joints. Now, what I'm going to do is open my trusty little Hurleman here again, and I'll go back to split screen just to show you guys. And I'll scroll down here. So now, as you see, the Hurleman does not have any trailer attacher joints. All it does is have attacher joints, and how they call these items out. So another thing I'm going to reference is basically get rid of these trailer attacher joints. Now, most of the info in here is legit and can be reused. So all I'm going to do is take these what they refer to as trailer attacher joints currently, and hit Control-C. Now what I'm going to do is copy them down to this section underneath attacher joints. Now when I did that, what I always will do, just have a point of reference, is called striking these out. As explained in last week's Wood Crasher class, striking out is all it's doing is at the beginning of the item in the vehicle XML. So in this case, it's a trailer attacher joints. We're going to put an exclamation point dash dash at the beginning, and at the end of our strikeout command is what I call it, or the area, we will just put a dash dash, basically telling us that's the section that we want to strike out. So now that we have this information relocated down to here, I need to rename this. Well, and how do I know to rename it to? Is the area I put it in. All they did was update the name. So we're now going to call this attacher joint with a capital J, as well as this one as well. So we're going to name this attacher joint with a capital J as well. Now one other item you're going to notice, I can see if I can go full screen here. Maybe it might help. Well, let's see. So if I scroll over, I'm noticing all the information that's given in my PTO. Basically, this has a 3-point attacher. The first part is referring to the 3-point attacher. We have a bottom arm, a top arm. The file name is being used for the top arm, so it's a top arm that grabs on for a 3-point attacher. And down here, it's telling us also again the indexes, but we'll address one thing at a time. So as far as the 3-point attacher goes, we're going to go over here, and it refers to a PTO file name. Now in 13, it's $data vehicle steerable power takeoff I3D. We go over here to our Hurleman, our trusty Hurleman. We got data vehicle shared upper link.i3d. So we notice these are different, and also a power take. So let me go over to the power take one. So this is our data vehicle shared power takeoff I3D. We will copy this, come over here to our file name where it's referring to a PTO file name, and we're going to update this. Now, in my opinion, here's the easiest way to update that. We're going to highlight that in Notepad++. We're going to go search, find. We're going to do a replace. So it's telling us to find this, and we're going to replace it with this information over here. You see a difference here? We're going to do replace, replace, replace. So we got all those taken care of. All this did was go back to the top in the strikeout area, which I'll leave that be. We don't have to change that because it started stricken out. So next thing we'll move on to is we now have that updated. So how the 3-point attacher will attach, it's all updated. So as far as this is concerned, as updating, the 3-point attacher is good to go. This is fine. Next thing we need to address is this has, as you guys can tell, trailer attacher joint and then a low trailer attacher joint. You'll notice the difference of where it attaches on the back of the trailer, on the back of a tractor, whether it's low or high. Basically, the high you just call it as a trailer, the low you call it trailer low. What we need to do is add those values in here. The old referred to low is true, so basically it's telling you in 13 that when you want a low trailer attacher joint, you say low is true. Okay, well in 15 we don't need to do that. We need to label it as this guy and this guy. We need to have these two items in here. So first what I'm going to do is take my joint type trailer and copy that, and we're going to plop that right over in here. It's not sensitive as to where you put it. Me personally, I try to put it after the index. So what I'll do is do my joint type of trailer there. I know this is my trailer low, so what I'll do is I'll add this in as well. So I'll copy this and paste over this information right here. There's my trailer low. So I should be good as far as the attacher joints go. If I made a mistake, we'll correct it. We'll see it. Our trusty log is going to tell me, "Hey Jeff, you made a mistake." All right, we'll definitely update it then. So moving along, the rest of this information should be good to go. I want to show you guys how the log is going to tell us if I make mistakes, which is fine. So I'm going to try to do this a little faster, like I just did, and it's going to tell me, "Hey, you made a mistake." Not a problem. I have no problem with mistakes. It's rinse, repeat, and the log will tell us what we did wrong. So for now, I'm going to close out a Notepad++, and basically I'll minimize that for now. Now the next thing I need to do is convert the model. So when opening that up, I will open my Farmall 1206 I3D file. Choose Giant 6.03. There it is. Here's our trusty tractor. Okay. First thing I want to do is look down here under scripting. It's going to tell me what I need to do right away to get this thing working. So if I scroll up to the top, it tells me my hardware, etc. All my good jazz. My video card, shader. It's really not important information. Where it starts to be a problem is where we see errors and warnings. Okay. So the simplest way to address this is start one by one and work your way through. So let's start with the outdated custom shader from 13 to 15 and use a new type of emissive billboard shader. They also renamed it as well. So first thing I'm going to do is I'll back out of this just to get that one item corrected. I usually try to take it a little bit slower. So I also took note of where that's located. So we found our file here, the emissive billboard shader underneath textures. So I'll do that one more time. So here's the main file with our I3D, and what we want to do is go in our textures, and there's that file that's outdated, as Giants Editor has told me. So what I'm going to do is open my trusty Giants folder again. So I'm in the Farming Simulator 15 folder as well. I'll try to organize this. I'm trying to use just one desktop as opposed to two, which is a little bit tougher for me. I'm used to using both when I convert stuff. Next thing I'm going to do is go to Vehicles. Now, we know what the name was. It was emissive billboard shader, as this tells me. So here's the file I need. Now, if you're worried about working on any of these files in Farming Simulator main folder, please copy it out, put it in a temp folder on your desktop, wherever you want, and that way you will not ruin anything with the game, if you're worried about that. Because if you modify any of these files, it's not pretty to get it back. But I use this as a point of reference because I know Giants did all their items correctly, or if I grab it from another mod, if somebody just kind of got it to work by changing some numbers, it won't work correctly. So instead of band-aiding it, I just grab right from the source. There's no better way to go. So what I want to do is hit this, hit copy. I'll copy this over to my textures folder. And there we go. So this is my old one. We're gonna say bye-bye to the old one. And there we go. So this is my new one. Now what I'm going to do is just, I'll show you a little cheat. So I go to rename, just so I type it correctly, so I don't make any of user error, is what I call it, because I've known to make up my own spellings. So I'll make sure to hit rename, and then I'll hit basically copy that text. Now that's all I'm going to do, not rename it, just use rename, get the correct spelling, and it's cap sensitive as well, as you'll see further along here. Next thing I need to do is open the Farmall 1206 I3D file with Notepad++. Why do I need to do that? Because in here it's going to tell me all the files that are being used with the file ID, as we did in last week's class for the crasher, how we added a texture in and so forth. So here's our file that's old. As you see, it's referencing an old file. What I need to do is update that. I'll hit right click on there, hit paste. It is now called Emissive Additive Shader, XML, which is now the updated emissive shader, is what I determine. So that's good to go. That's the only change. Once you do that, just save it like I did, and then click on the X. We are done in Notepad++ for now. Open the I3D file one more time for the tractor. Notice that the error is going. I'm still getting warnings. Okay? So what I'm going to do is address one at a time. Now in Giants Editor 6 and for FS15, what they did was they now are cap sensitive, like I mentioned. So every spelling, whether it's capital or lowercase, needs to match. If it doesn't, you'll get this lovely little warning saying, hey, things are not matching. And what I mean by that is, I'll show you right now. So I know the front wheel diffuse and the front wheel specular are somewhere along the lines are not matching as far as case sensitive. So how do I get to there? Trust the old Notepad++. There's that file. Okay, now I'm going to go split screen here just to show you. So it was a front wheel diffuse and front wheel specular. Alright, notice the spellings and notice the caps. So I know this is in the textures according to the file path here. Okay, here's our front wheel diffuse, front wheel specular. Alright, whoever did this model decided to use the capital F here. As you can see from over here, it is a lowercase. So what I'm going to do is make that a lowercase f, as well as make that a lowercase f as well. So now my images, textures that are referenced over here also match my I3D. So we're good to go. Click on save. We're going to close out our textures. We will close this out as well. And then go back to my class 2 where we have this and open my I3D file one more time, hopefully eliminating all the warnings. Okay, we have one left. It's an old shape file format version. This is one of the easiest warnings to take care of. All you have to do to get rid of this warning is click on the trusty save. It'll update it automatically. So I'll do it one more time. I'll close out, open this back up, and boom, notice no more warnings, no more errors, right to the point. Just loads right up my I3D file. So I'm happy with this. We're good. We're good to go. So I'm going to close this out. Now, this is the original mod that I unzipped. This is the way I do things. You can do. There's many ways to skin the cat. All I will do, just to keep it easy here, I'll copy and paste, and I'll just rename this for now. And all I'll do is I'll call this ORIG for original. RIGL. Alright. So I'll leave that be. I'll open up this file now that we're going to basically take out all the 13 files. Yes, there are thumbs DB, which is thanks to Macintosh, and we just get rid of those files. Next thing we'll do is we'll take all our files we modified, minus this zip file, the original, and minus the name of the zip file. What I'll do is I'll click and drag. Boom, there's all our files over to there. Okay, there's all our files converted that we need to convert to get them to work in 15. Now, here comes the fun part. Everybody likes a little testing. So, what I'll do is I was working on this earlier. I'll get rid of this one. Oops. I might have it open. I do. There we go. Let me quit out of here. So there's your sneak peek of it working. So, but that was one I did earlier. So I'll delete it. And all I do is hit copy. I will paste it over to here. And I use the mod commander, use Dave's mod switcher, whichever you're comfortable with, and go from there. And all I'll do is I'll fire up the trusty game. Oops, let me make sure that this is still... Alright, we're still good to go. So we'll hit career. We'll select my save game. Continue. Whoops. Okay, that's not updating. I apologize. So let me go to here. I have to add one more thing here, guys. I apologize. There we go. Okay, so you should not be seeing my screen at ISC. I apologize if that was not working earlier. Okay, now we'll click on Start. Drop into our trusty little Bjornholm map. Everybody loves Bjornholm. Not. Alright, so what we'll do is go to Purchase. We'll see our categories here. We're going to go over to Categories and Mods. See Tractors. There's our trusty Farmall 1206. Now, fingers crossed, we did it right, and it'll come in the game. We'll find out right now. Double click, you can fetch your purchase at the store. Okay, so we're going to go down to the store and fetch our nice new tractor here. There's our nice new tractor. Now, looks good. Let's see something. Excellent. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 warnings. That's good. I wanted to make sure I didn't do this all right in the first trip here. So we know our tractor works in game. Looks good. Everything else here. So let's make sure I did my attacher joint correctly, which is never a guarantee. Attacher joint works. Bonus. Good. So that's good to go. We got our attacher joint. So we only know, just wanted to show you guys that, there's 4 warnings to take care of. Cool. So I'm on it. I'm going to show you guys what that's in reference to. What it's saying is no clip distance set to node 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to go back to our trusty Giants editor and show you guys how to get rid of that. Change that so that warning is gone. So what I'll do, here's my class 2 folder. Here's my Farmall 1206 I3D. Okay, here we go. So, now remembering our trusty log, we'll notice it didn't say anything about node 0, or index 0, which is this guy. See how his clip distance is set to 300? That's great. That's where we want everything to be set to. And if my memory serves me correctly, that's Giant's default. Now, for some reason, this guy in 13 felt as though you need to see these wheels that much further and set the clip distance to an obnoxious 1,000,000. Well, we don't need 1,000,000, and Giants feels the same way, so we need to set to 300 to match our tractor, because we want to see our tractor come at the same time as we see the wheels. We don't need to see the wheels that much further ahead. So as we go through all these values that are set at 1,000,000, we're going to change them to 300. And again, this is being recorded, so if I'm going too fast, I apologize. I try to make it somewhat simple and move through it, as efficiently as possible. So get back to it here. We changed all our values that were 1,000,000 to 300. So we feel as though that's good, and so does Giants. So it doesn't load in all the way across the map, which we ran into a couple issues as testing mods. So, as I mentioned last week, there are 2 files here, the I3D and the shapes file. Both were updated. How do I know that? Again, just to show you a recap from last week, we open our I3D with Notepad++. Scroll down, and right here it tells you there's a external shape file, which is this right here. So our I3D needs this to load our tractor. If it is not there, the mod will not load. So what I'm going to do is take my trusty shapes file, take my trusty I3D file, I will copy, or as I do, click and drag, whatever you like to do. And then I need to copy and replace one more time, and that's good to go. Next thing I need to do is fire up our trusty farming simulator and test our mod again and look for errors. And hopefully this time there are none. No errors, no warnings. Not that we had errors last time, but we had those 4 warnings. I want to make sure to get rid of them all. So I'm going to fire up trusty Bjorn home here and see what we got. We got our tractor in with no warnings. We just got a win, a victory. And I always like doing these older tractors because honestly I really haven't started seeing enough of them. And you know, this is nice for you guys. So if you have a favorite tractor out there, you know, this is the video to help you to get your tractor in game. I hope. There are, you know, there are some really tricky mods out there. There are ones I converted for a gentleman a little bit ago that it took quite some time. There was a lot to it. I mean, there were wipers, there were dual tires, there were, you name it, it had it. Opening doors, closing doors, all that good jazz. All that bells and whistles, and it didn't use the IC interactive commands like some tractors have, where you hit the space bar and you click on them. And I'm not really a fan of it. I like to hit the shortcut keys to get them to do their function. As well, I'll turn on my lights here so you guys get to see my lights work just fine. So, what we were in question is our warnings. We're good. This is what we want to see. We just want to see our I3D file load up with no warnings, no errors, and is a happy camper. So this is golden. This I'm real happy with right now. So, as I said, we can go over here. Now, if you want to see this 3-point attacher work, I will get something that's 3 points and we'll attach it. Now we get to see this upper arm in action. So let me just grab, let's see here, something fun. This 3-point attacher. Let's just grab this little cultivator. Now, it might be a little big for this tractor, but hey, we might do some wheelies in the process. Which wheelies are okay after you get the mod converted. Boom. There's our attacher arm. Lifts that bad boy up. So that is golden. We know that works. So we are good. We'll raise. We'll hit V to lower it. And it moves good. There are no complaints for that. So this is good. This is our little tractor. Here's a first person view. The gauges do not work, unfortunately, but that'd be for another class, because that's in my eyes a little bit more work. So there's a trusty Farmall Turbo 1206 converted. Now, as you guys see with this tractor as well, it has these on the back here, these obnoxious axles, which should, in my eyes, have dual wheels. So my goal is in next week's class is I'm going to show you guys how to add dual wheels, you know, as well as being selectable. So that way you can, you know, you can add them if you want, or have this obnoxious axle there. So you know, it'll be a good tool for next week. But at least I wanted to show you how to convert a easy little tractor here to 15. Now, it's not a magic maker, so if the tractor had errors in 13, it's going to have the same errors in 15s most likely. And if they weren't in 13, they could possibly appear in 15, because 15 looks for more items. As we noticed, the case sensitive on the spelling, and also, you know, the emissive shaders that are updated. So it's a little more fussier, which is good. You know, it's going to make your game run that much better if you get rid of all the warnings and all the errors. You know, it's nice to have the mod in, but it's better to have that mod in without errors or warnings. So that basically covers what we got for the international of converting it. As I said in the beginning, you can get the mod for this class at !class mod, and you can download it and convert along. Have the video up and follow along. You know, I hope I did an okay job for you guys here, and it wasn't too hard following along. But one more thing I wanted to show you guys before I go. A little thing I just found out probably about 10 minutes before broadcast here. I don't need to save this. This is just a work in progress. A new feature, some of you guys already might know, for Farming Simulator 15 that they added in. And like I said, it's new to me. So something to bounce around is if you go to your graphics settings now. So I'll go back one more time, go to options, graphics. Here's all your settings. One cool new feature they added I never knew about is this thing called benchmarks. So you can now benchmark with Farming Sim 15. Cool, I guess. I mean, it's neat. You can see how it runs and everything else. So I click this trusty little benchmark. It'll tell you your settings, and you hit start. And basically, it's going to give you an evaluation presented in a graphical manner. Results can be saved in XML, CSV, and PNG. And here's all that. I'm not going to read this all to you, but you get the idea. It's basically benchmarking. It's going to do 2 runs. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I loaded up and I did it right before start here, and all it does is basically it goes through the whole benchmark process for Farming Sim 15. It is very cool. You know, it's a cool little tool. It's not going to do anything fancy, but it's going to tell you where your game stands. So I'm not going to show you the whole benchmark because that's as boring as all get out. You know, I totally understand. So what I did was I already went ahead and ran just to show you what the output screen looks like. You know, this is nothing more than that. So here I go to benchmark, and that's what that looks like. All it's telling you is your game version, your OS, CPU, memory, all that good jazz. It tells you your average frame rate, your FPS histogram. So that's where all this information is basically outputted to there. So I just wanted to show you that cool little tool before I call it a night. But that's all I had, guys. I just wanted to show you. So that's basically converting to Farmall 1206. So if you want, I'm going to put this recording up. You can follow along and convert to 1206 for yourself, you know, for your use, and go to it. You know, I hope it was helpful and beneficial. And next week's my goal is to add on dually tires. Oops, hold on a second here. Oh, Farm Sim Store. There we go. My apologies, guys. So let me show you what the screen will look like one more time. Thanks, Dave. I apologize for that, guys. So here's this. My games. I'm just going to show you what the output screen looks like one more time because apparently Farm Sim is still running there for me. So there's what the screen looks like. It tells you your OS, CPU, memory, GPU, as well as your average frames. So it's a cool little feature, you know, that they added in 1.3. Something new I found out as well, just a couple minutes ago before broadcast. So that's all I had for tonight, guys. You know, nothing too crazy. I hope we didn't go too fast, but like I said, now you'll be able to convert hopefully a simple tractor. Now, like I said, there's some out there that have a lot of features, and it's doable. Just you know, take your time, compare it to other tractors that are out there if they have the same features, and you'll get through it. My word of advice is always reference Giants in-game tractors. Just don't modify their files, otherwise you won't be able to do multiplayer online because your files won't match up. But if there's any questions, I'll stick around for a little bit here. If not, I will call it a night. So hope you guys learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, nothing too crazy. And again, stick around for Friday night. Dave will be doing his map making class again at 7. And we'll keep advancing. You guys, by the end of this, you'll be able to make your own map and also, you know, convert your own mods and modify your mods and add some dual tires to your tractors and go from there. So that's all I had, and that's it. And we'll be back next Tuesday after Dave's Tuesday map making class to add some dual tires on our cool Farmall tractor. It's one of my favorite little tractors, so hope you guys like it as well. And that is all I got. So I will catch you guys Friday. I'll be on for Dave's map making and also for the map preview. Have a good day, guys.